In the 1400s, Wales wanted to be separated from England, but protests became a war, starting the Wars of the Roses. The most influential battle was the Battle of Bosworth Field, where Henry Tudor killed King Richard III and established a greater separation of Wales from England in a groundbreaking triumph. For generations, Wales wanted to be separated from England. They wanted this so badly that multiple prophecies and legends were told of one man who could free them all. Many people attempted to fulfill this prophecy, but it wasn't until Henry Tudor, the Earl of Richmond with royal blood, decided to take matters into his own hands. Henry Tudor was a very biased and flawed man, but he saw an opportunity to become king and exploited it. With his undying belief in his right to the throne and his Welsh birth and the upbringing, his name spread like wildfire across England, amassing a great following. At the time, King Edward had just died. Lord Richard, brother of the king, managed to get his two nephews declared illegitimate, keeping them from inheriting the throne of England. Lord Richard was then proclaimed the rightful ruler of England. It is widely believed that King Richard had his nephews murdered. King Richard knew he had to defeat Henry Tudor and his followers, so he began to recruit more soldiers and allies. And while Henry Tudor's first attempt to invade England failed, he was not deterred. His second attempt, though greatly outnumbered, led to what would ultimately be the battle that will end the Wars of the Roses. There are very few details about what actually happened in the Battle of Bosworth Field. For centuries, historians have even disagreed exactly where Bosworth Field was. We do know that the battle occurred in Leicestershire and the fields below Ambion Hill, England, on the 22nd of August, 1485. It is also believed that the battle only lasted about 2 hours. Henry Tudor's army was severely outnumbered by King Richard's army and his allies, but that didn't stop him. In the battle, thousands of men fought each other from each side, with King Richard in the front. Each side was doing fairly well until two fateful things happened. King Richard led a charge through a very muddy bog, becoming trapped, and one of his allies, Sir William Stanley, decided to change sides and support Henry. Sure enough, King Richard's horse perished, leaving the king on foot. He put up a great fight until his last breath, as Henry Tudor kills him, ending the battle and ultimately the war. After this less than noble battle between the two sides, Henry Tudor was crowned King Henry VII right on the battlefield. King Richard was also buried there too. With this power, King Henry VII successfully established a stability in Wales, even though they were still governed by England. Unfortunately, many felt he did not keep his promise to the Welsh people. While he allowed Welshmen to be appointed to his army, it became clear that he preferred Englishmen to the Welshmen. King Henry stayed with England, which made many people mad. Instead, he appointed his son Arthur to rule as Prince of Wales, so his family blood will be in England and Wales. Arthur led the Council of Wales, which improved the stability and provided a better government for Wales. Years later, a famous author by the name of William Shakespeare wrote a play on the Wars of the Roses entitled King Richard III, which is still known today. Today, you can travel to England to see Bosworth Field, to see where King Richard III died, and to visit multiple museums about the Wars of the Roses. While doing my research, I was shocked to find how important this short battle was to Welsh and British culture. Data on the battle itself is very scarce, yet information on its consequences is not. Clearly, the Battle of Bosworth Field and King Henry VII's leadership afterward laid the groundwork for a free Wales.